each week, he'll have a short assessment determining which words he has mastered and which words he'll continue to practice with for an additional week. These sight words can be practiced through flashcards, as well as writing, or the use of some tactile sight word activities, such as drawing the words in sand or creating the words out of a wiki stick. Just some more fun ways to engage and memorize those words. The high frequency words will be chosen from the Fry word list. Fry most common words. There's 1,000 of them, starting at the first 100 and working your way through. Block 3, again, guided reading and independent reading, where Damani will receive feedback and coaching each day around his reading, his decoding, and his comprehension. This is an essential part of reading and instruction for students. It's shown in countless research how essential authentic reading experience is to growth. In addition to his guided reading time, he will also be receiving 10 to 15 minutes of independent reading where he can select his own book and really just grow his ability to enjoy and love reading. This would be just an example of a reading observation record that could be used to record observations and growth of different areas in Damani's reading. This can be used each day to kind of monitor how he's doing and what areas he continues to need more support. The fourth and final block of the day is a fluency practice. This is to help Damani practice his phrasing, his expression, and his confidence in reading. He'll be using the repeated reading strategy, which allows him to read the same passage over and over so that he can improve his accuracy and his speed and his expression. 2 days a week, he will also be engaged in listening to a book read to him on tape while following along with the text. He can then start reading out loud with the tape to as well help him improve that oral reading fluency. These are just some examples of fluency phrase cards that can be used for repeated reading. They can be longer or shorter depending on how the student is doing. It can also increase in difficulty over time. There'll be 3 main assessments used to determine Damani's growth as a reader. First, every week he will be graded using a graded word list and a sentence list to determine how he's doing with his sight words. Second, he will be given a timed reading sample bi-weekly to monitor his fluency progress and his error analysis to see how he's doing in decoding. And then finally, every 3 months, he will be assessed using an informal reading inventory to get a more overarching view of his progress as a reader. The graded word list and sentence list will just be done to identify if he's mastered his sight words or if he needs to continue reading the same words for another week. These would look something like this. He would be given his 10 words. If he can read them automatically, he gets a check. If it takes him some hesitation or if he's trying to decode the words, then he'd continue to practice that word. As you'll see on the right, the graded sentence list, this is just to see, sometimes students can read a word on their own, but can they read that word in the context of a story? It can be more challenging. So to determine not only can he read the word independently of any other words, but also in the context of a sentence. Just to give his teacher a more overall view of how he's doing applying those skills in authentic reading contexts. His next formative assessment, the timed reading sample, again, this is done every other week. It's a 1-minute oral reading passage that is timed. This will determine his words correct per minute rate, his fluency, and also give some insight into his error analysis. Where is he making errors? What kind of words? This is going to be charted over time so that we can see his growth and determine if these interventions are actually helping him develop as a reader. Just an example of the different error codes that would be used while he's doing his oral readings, as well as at the top you'll see these are some norms for reading rates at a second grade level. Finally, his summative assessment will be done quarterly. It is a combination of an informal reading inventory and a modified MISCU analysis. These combined will be able to assess his independent reading level, his reading rate, give a more detailed MISCU analysis, his comprehension, as well as his overall growth with these interventions. This is going to be used for big picture things to determine his growth towards standards, towards IEP goals, as well as help inform instructional changes that will best support him. Just an example of a modified MISCU analysis on the right, providing lots of information about his phrasing, his fluency, his pace, his accuracy, his expression, and on the right you'll see a running record that can be used with that oral reading. In summary, this intervention plan was formulated specifically for the needs of this student. We hope that these best practices and research-based interventions will really help progress Damani as a reader, help him build confidence and decoding skills that he may not have previously had. We'll hope that at the end of 3 to 6 months of using this intervention that we will see some significant growth and be able to modify and change the intervention to meet his needs as they are at that time. Thank you so much. I hope that this answered all of your questions about this case study.